Hello everybody, welcome back to GCSE Maths video. In this video we'll be looking at substitution with negative numbers. So to get going, we'll just start with a warm-up, thinking about everything that we've learned about negative numbers so far. Okay, so let's start with these questions. First of all, 5 times 12. What is 5 times 12? Well, that's going to be 60. What about 5 times negative 12? So if we've got 5 lots of a negative number, then we're going to have a negative number. It's going to be negative 60. Positive times by negative, always going to be negative. Okay, what if you've got minus 5 times minus 12? Okay, so we've got negative kind of amount of a negative number. Well, that's going to be positive. So it's positive 60. A negative times by negative, always positive. About 10 times minus 1. Well, what's that second rule we saw here? 10 times minus 1 is a positive times by negative, so it's going to be negative. It's going to be minus 10. Okay, so let's go through some examples. So let's say that m is equal to minus 7. Let's find the value of m plus 3. So the first thing we're always going to do is just substitute the number in. So minus 7 plus 3. Well, what is minus 7 plus 3? You can use a number line. You can think about it. We get minus 4. What about m plus 4? So we've got minus 7 plus 4. Well, that is going to be equal to minus 3. What, 9 plus m? So 9 plus minus 7, that is just simply the same as 9 minus 7, which is equal to 2. What about m minus 3? So minus 7 minus 3. So that is going to be minus 10. What about 8 minus m? So 8 minus 7. What happens then? So if we're taking away a negative number, then we're essentially adding a number. If you're taking away something negative, the entire thing gets more positive. So that becomes 8 plus 7, which is 15. Okay, so what about 3m? I'm just going to write to the side m is equal to minus 7 so we don't forget. So 3 times minus 7. Well, is that negative or positive? Well, it's a positive times by negative, so it's going to be negative. It'll be negative 21. What about 3m plus 5? So 3 times minus 7 plus 5. So the first thing we'll think about is the multiplication. So what's 3 times minus 7? Well, we just did that. Minus 21, and then we can add the 5. So minus 21 plus 5, it gets less negative, so minus 16. Okay. What about 3m minus 3? Well, that's going to be 3 times minus 7 minus 3. So what's 3 times minus 7? Well, it's minus 21 minus 3. Well, taking away from a negative is going to get more negative. Minus 24. Okay, what about 2m plus 1? So 2 times minus 7 plus 1. That is equal to minus 14 plus 1, which is equal to minus 13. Okay, 2m minus 1. So 2 times minus 7 minus 1. Let's deal with that first multiplication first. 2 times minus 7, that is minus 14, minus 1. You're taking something away from a negative number, it's going to get more negative. So you get minus 15. Okay, now let's say y is minus 5. Find the value of y plus 10. So minus 5 plus 10, that is going to be 5. Okay, about 12 plus y, so 12 plus minus 5. Well, if you're adding a negative number, it's getting less positive, it's getting more negative. So it's going to be 12 minus 5, that is going to be 7. But 8 minus y, so 8 minus 5, negative minus a negative becomes a positive, that becomes 8 plus 5, which is 13. Okay. So y is equal to minus 5. What about y minus 3? So minus 5 minus 3. Well, that's going to be minus 8. And then what about 5 minus y? So 5 minus 5. That's the same as saying 5 plus 5, which is going to be equal to 10. Then what about 3y plus 4? So 3 times minus 5 plus 4. Well, 3 times minus 5, that is minus 15. Plus 4, it's getting less negative, you get minus 11. What about 2y minus 5? We've got 2 minus 5 minus 5. Okay, so 2 times minus 5, positive times by negative, that is negative. Minus 10 minus 5, that is equal to minus 15. Okay, and then we have 2y plus 5, so that's 2 times minus 5. Add 5, so again, deal with that multiplication first. What's 2 times minus 5? Well, that's minus 10. Then we add the 5. So minus 10 plus a number is getting more positive or less negative. You get minus 5. Okay, so now we've got two kind of, I guess, unknowns, even though we're being told what the values are. We've got two numbers to work with here, two letters. So the first question is, well, if m is 5 and n is minus 4, find m plus n. So the first thing we're going to do is substitute it in. So 5 plus minus 4, that is the same as saying 5 minus 4, which we know is equal to 1. What about m plus n plus n? Okay, 5 plus minus 4 plus minus 4. That's the same as saying 5 minus 4 minus 4. Okay, that's the same as saying 5 minus 8, which is negative 3. Okay, what about 3m plus 2n? So 3 times 5 plus 2 times minus 4. So let's deal with the first sum first. So 3 times 5, that's 15. And what 2 times minus 4? That's going to be a negative because it's a positive times by negative. So it becomes 15 plus negative 8, which is the same as saying 15 minus 8, which is the same as 7. 2m minus 3n. So 2 times 5 minus 3 times minus 4. Okay, so 2 times 5, that is 10. Minus 3 times minus 4, well, that becomes positive. That becomes positive 12. It becomes 10 plus 12, which is equal to 22. Okay, and then we have m plus n minus 10. So m is 5 plus n is plus negative 4. And we've got minus 10. So first of all, we're thinking, what is 5 plus negative 4? How can we rewrite that? Well, that is just 5 minus 4. And then that minus 10 on the end. So what is 5 minus 4? That is 1. So 1 minus 10. That is equal to minus 9. Okay, so m is 5, n is minus 4. What is 4 times n? Saying what is 4 times by minus 4? Well, that is your positive times by negative. That is a negative. That's negative 16. And then we have n plus 2n plus n. Okay, so we have minus 4 plus 2 times minus 4 plus minus 4. Okay, so let's think about this term by term. So the first term is just minus 4. The second term is 2 times minus 4. We know that now that is minus 8. And then we have plus minus 4. That's minus 4. So minus 4 minus 8 minus 4. That is going to be equal to minus 16. Okay, so I hope this video was useful in helping you understand how to implement negative numbers into substitution. If you're struggling with this, I do recommend recapping how to add and subtract with negative numbers.